Oh, baby. Welcome in, everyone, to the very first edition of the sick podcast, Rocket Report. That's right, myself, producer Shane, and the voice of your Laval Rocket on BPM Spa, Anthony Marcotte, will be bringing you in-depth analysis, fun discussions, and special surprises exclusively dedicated to the best team in the AHL. It's going to be a fun ride, so make sure you're subscribed. Turn on that notification bell so you never miss a new episode. You can also follow us on Twitter at SickPodRocket to get all your updates and announcements. Listen, Anthony, what better time to start this show than right now as the Laval Rocket are taking on the Rochester Americans in the North Division Finals. Yesterday was Game 1, a big 5-4 win for the good guys. Lots to discuss. It's going to be a fun show. So why don't we get to it right here, right now? Let's
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Rocket Report.
That's it!
The sickest Laval Rocket podcast. It's gonna be sick.
That's right. As I mentioned, producer Shane here, joined by the voice of your Laval Rocket, Anthony Marcotte. Anthony, how's it going today?
Nice intro. This is exciting, isn't it?
Very exciting. A long time coming, and you know what? There isn't enough coverage about the Laval Rocket. For an AHL team, they fill out the building every night. The people in Laval, the people in Montreal, the people in Quebec love this team. And right now, along with La Victoire de Montréal, they're the only two teams still in the playoffs. So I think the interest level is fairly high, and reason to be. I mean, the Rocket were the best team in the AHL this season, and they're looking like the best team in the AHL so far in the playoffs, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, I think it's the ideal time to launch a new podcast with the Rocket because the team has been amazing all year, and it continues in the playoffs. There's no guarantees that it will work in the playoffs, but it is working. I think the depth of the team is pretty good. It's really looking good out there on the ice. Big win last night here in Rochester, 5-4. Lots of things to discuss. You're right. But the things that you said are really interesting because when it started in 2017, there was nothing guaranteed about the Rocket in Laval. It was a brand new market. The last time the AHL was playing in Quebec was in beginning of the 2000s in Quebec City with the Citadel and the Rafale beforehand in the International Hockey League. And we can say that it really worked. They were battling for their spot in Quebec City with the Quebec Remparts were bought by Patrick Roy and all his friends there. So, and I don't think it was the ideal time to bring the AHL in the same venue a couple of years after losing the Nordic.
Yeah.
And then many years later, Montreal decides to bring back his farm team just on the North Shore of Montreal, and it worked. But at the beginning, I remember in 2017, middle week games on Wednesday nights, there were 3,000 people in the stands. And now you will never see a low attendance like that in Laval. But they, step by step, they were able to build something really nice. It's a nice venue, easily accessible with the metro, le transport en commun. And now, well, it's been a huge success, clearly helped by that run in the playoffs in 2022. Yeah. And now a lot of excitement around this team right now.
Absolutely. And there's reason to be, and lots to discuss in this show. And we're going to try to keep it brief, but I said we're going to try. I think we're going to get excited and might get carried away here. But let's start, Anthony, before the game even started, because the discussion was all about goaltending, right? You have Cayden Primeau, who's only starting the playoffs. He lost. And Jacob Fowler was 3-0. So then you start thinking, okay, who's it going to be? And Pascal Vincent decides to go with the best goalie in the AHL in the regular season, that being Cayden Primeau. Let me remind everyone, he went 21-2-2 with a 196 goals against average and a 927 save percentage. So safe to say he's got options, right? He decided to go with Primeau yesterday. Tomorrow, we still don't know. But take us behind that decision how Pascal Vincent is making that decision, how the goalies are also handling that. I know you spoke with Cayden yesterday about it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things behind that decision, I think. Um, and I really believe that communication is the best way to handle things with the goaltenders.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they knew many days ago what was the strategy to begin the series. They didn't dangle with it all week to finally decide their goaltender. Um, and if you read between the lines, I've been there like the last 8 years, and I know Cayden Primeau pretty well. Even though he wouldn't confirm that he would be starting the first game of the quarterfinals, you could feel it that he was the guy that would start the playoff. And I think it's a good thing. Guys were preparing for it. And why not use it as an advantage for the team? I mean, it's an advantage. It's a clear advantage. There's no playbook for Rochester on Jacob Fowler. They will probably see him on Friday night. And Primeau, you got to give it to him. I mean, 21-2-2, what a record. He's been formidable all year, beat them twice during the season. He was the go-to guy in 2022, beat that team 3 times consecutively. Mm-hmm. A shutout in that quarterfinals against Rochester. This is a hostile place, a tough barn to play in. And even though he allowed 4 goals, well, it's a W. They won the game 5-4, and they're leading 1-0. And it's already a good place to be in a best-of-5 series.
Right. That's a great point you make there, because, I mean, the last 3 games, if they go to the last 3 games, are in Laval. So not only do you take a 1-game advantage away, but you're guaranteed to head back home at least tied in the series. Huge win. Great point that you mentioned.
And it alleviates the pressure on the rookie. If you come back with Fowler tomorrow, you're already leading 1-0. You know that there will be a pushback from Rochester. It's going to be a tough game tomorrow. But what a challenge for Fowler. If he gets that game, you're leading 2-0. You have 5 days off, and you have 3 times to clinch the series and head to the semifinals. I think it's the ideal spot, the ideal situation to bring Fowler tomorrow.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Now, before we jump into the actual game here, I want to tell everyone that we are proudly sponsored by Betway. And our friends over at Betway, well, they've got a special offer for you, okay? You can get a free bet up to $200 if your first bet loses. You can scan that QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account and redeem your welcome offer. Now, the offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. The offer's not available in Ontario, and you must be 18 years or older. Please play responsibly. Anthony, we knew this series was going to be a physical one, right? There's a lot of animosity between the 2 teams. They are division rivals after all. They know each other pretty well, but it started off just like that. 2 quick penalties on the Rocket, which ended up costing them a goal. Overall in this series, how do you think they need to teeter the line between playing their physical game while also staying disciplined? Because we know they were the most penalized team in this season in the AHL.
Well, good question. We knew already right from the get-go that you need to be aware of the Americans' power play. They have legit options. Defensively, they have a couple of good options to move the puck. Yuri Kulik is an impressive young forward. I think he belongs to the NHL on a regular basis now, but he's playing in the AHL because they have the option to send him there, and I think it's a good deal for him to be the go-to guy in Rochester, help them win in the playoffs. Exactly what Montreal did with Oliver Kapanen. It's the same situation for Kulik. But like you said, it started with 2 straight penalties that I didn't like personally. I think it's penalties that you can avoid. Mailloux was penalized, and then Roy afterwards. They allowed a goal, played pretty good in front of Primeau, but you gave them the momentum right from the get-go, and I think it's going to be something that you need to take care of in the next couple of games, because Rochester, this is a team that can bite you if you give them the leeway and give them time and space on the power play. This is not a good situation.
No, exactly. But ultimately, the Rocket won the special teams battle. They ended up scoring 2 power play goals on 3 occasions. And the first one coming from Logan Mailloux, laser beam from the point, gets the game going. And in the playoffs, he has stepped up his game. I know a lot of people who weren't really following the Rocket this season just saw the numbers and saw a decrease in his offensive production. But he has really rounded out his game this season, focused more on the defensive aspects. But right now, you're seeing he is the general at the blue line. And I know you, like myself, you really enjoyed his game, right?
Well, I'm enjoying his playoffs altogether.
Yeah.
He's been that good. The 5 games that the Rocket have played as of now, he looked dominant once again last night on both sides of the ice. You need to be aware of that bomb from the point. 2 games in a row that he scored goals from the point on the power play. He has that legit shot that remembers Sheldon Souray at his time at Montreal. He has that kind of a shot that you need to be aware of, and it changes the whole complexion of the power play. So you can bring offense from the wings and from the point as well with that bomb of a shot. And it appears that everything is falling into the right places for Logan Mailloux right now. He takes charge. We already knew that he had the capabilities of being a dominant hockey player in the AHL, but for now, at the best time of the season, he steps it up a notch, and he really looks good out there.
Oh yeah, big time. The step to the Montreal Canadiens is not that far away. We'll just keep it to that. But it's encouraging to see him perform in the playoffs, right? That's when it matters most. That's when you want your big players to step up. He has certainly stepped up. And another guy, we're going to stay on the blue line here, and we're going to keep it to the young guys as well. David Reinbacher, we know what happened this season to him, right? Goes down early with an injury in the preseason, comes back, plays just 10 games in the regular season. But the way he's playing, I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell. Like, he looks comfortable out there. He's making plays on both ends of the ice, ends up scoring the second goal for the Laval Rocket. What have you seen from Reinbacher, and how do you evaluate his game so far in the playoffs?
Well, I think the kid has a lot of tools that looks appealing for the NHL. First of all, he's a big man, and he moves really good for a big guy like himself. Good agility, and I think with more repetitions out there, he will be even better. Like you said, he doesn't have a lot of hockey in him this year. Got injured, missed all the season, but now he has the chance to play big games in the playoffs. But it's tough to come back from a long-term injury and find that right space, the pace of play. But the good thing for him, he's coming back, and the team doesn't need to put him as a number 1 defenseman on that blue line. There's Mailloux that is playing there. We have that veteran Gustav Lindstrom on the right side of the defense that's been really good with Tyler Wotherspoon. I'm not saying that they are shelling him, but at least he doesn't need to be exceptional to be a part of that brigade. So once again, I think it's a right spot for him, and if the playoffs goes along, I think he can be even better. Will be more comfortable out there. Scored a pretty nice goal, joining the offense last night, and really looked comfortable. He got hit, but he can handle the pressure. Takes responsible decisions in his own zone. Has a good first pass. He has a good shot. And he's a big guy, and he can involve himself physically as well. And I think the pairing with Adam Engstrom, it's been good. It's been pretty good in the 5 games.
They complement each other so well.
Has been maybe up and down. Reinbacher is the steady force between the two. But when these guys hit it on, I think it's an excellent pair for an AHL team.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you bring up Adam Engstrom, because he doesn't get enough credit, right? He's obviously in the shadow of guys like Mailloux and Reinbacher, but man, is he good. Like, if people who aren't familiar with Engstrom's game maybe tuned into yesterday's game, and he can move like that, right? He's very confident.
I have a comparison for you.
Please, I'd love to hear it.
Well, we have a guy in Montreal, a Montreal-born player that looks a lot like Adam Engstrom. Can you name him?
A Montreal-born player that looks like Adam Engstrom.
Mike Madison.
I love it. I love it. The
I
movement.
see a young Mike
It's the
Madison in
movement.
Adam Engstrom.
Absolutely. His skating, his puck handling, his confidence, right? The fact that he's a young player stepping into the AHL, he's confident enough to hold on to the puck, make plays. I love that comparable. And I mean, that means that he has legit NHL upside, you think, right?
I think so. When you take a look at that defense in Laval right now, I think there's 4 legit options for Montreal in the next few years. They won't all play in Montreal, but at least it's some assets that you can use in a trade to get some reinforcements, especially at center. It's a blatant spot in Montreal, but I think like that push in the playoffs, there's a lot of eyes on the Rocket right now. When teams get eliminated, there's pro scouts everywhere that will take a look at what's happening in the AHL. So I think it's only good news if these guys can perform. Can't use Jeff Gorton will analyze everything, and they will choose which guys they want to keep and which guys they could involve maybe in the trade to help the team win in the foreseeable future. So I think it's interesting. I think Engstrom clearly, because of his skating ability, has a legit chance to become an NHL player. I think he has that potential for sure.
That's a great point you bring up there. I like that a lot. I mean, that's obviously a big plus for the team to go far in the playoffs, for these young players to get experience, but it's also good to showcase them. So that's a great point there. And why don't we stick to the young guys here? Because the Rocket have a really great combination of veterans and young players. And before the season, we were a bit worried about how that would be handled. Like, new coach, are they going to be too young, too unexperienced? Turned out that blend was just right. And some of those young players, right? Owen Beck, his first AHL season, I thought he was fantastic all year long. And yesterday, really loved his game. He's involved physically, throwing out big hits. I mean, we remember in the Memorial Cup when he flattened Easton Cowan, right? He's able to do that. He's a big boy. He's thick, right? But he's also producing offensively. 2 assists yesterday. Talk to me a little bit about Owen Beck and maybe why he's on the wing with Florian Jacquet at center. That's interesting too.
Yeah, and I think his competitiveness is off the charts.
Oh yeah, he's a winner.
He's a winner. He wants to win for sure. Each and every puck that is available for him, he will work hard to get it. And that's really nice. Skating wise, I think he's an above average skater.
Yeah.
Maybe average abilities for the NHL, but his competitiveness is really, really good. Excellent on the face-off dot. Could play on the wing, play at center. I think he needed that kind of year of development in the AHL. It's a good thing that he had a cup of tea in Montreal.
Yeah.
He saw what he needed to improve to become a full-time NHLer. I think he has a really good career in front of him. I see Owen Beck as at least a 10-year NHL player. He has too many assets, too many attributes to miss his chance for the NHL.
Yeah.
I don't think he has off-the-charts offensive capabilities, but as a bottom 6 forward, if you play him on the wing or if you play him in center, this is the kind of player that will help you win down the road in the playoffs. And that's what we're seeing with Laval right now. I think his role just fell off just a little bit in the depth chart because he started pretty much as a first-line center this year in Laval, but for whatever reason, improvement, the return of Kapanen, the return of Gignac, well, now he's playing on the 4th line. He doesn't care. They will give him minutes on the power play. They will give him minutes on the PK. And when he's on the ice at 5-on-5, he's been a force with Jacquet and Davidson. It's really been an excellent 4th line. There's not a better 4th line in the AHL right now for sure if these 3 guys can keep it on right now.
Absolutely. And speaking of that 4th line right there, he's playing with 2 other young players with a lot of competitiveness in them, right? Florian Jacquet and Jared Davidson. Now, let's key in on Jacquet for a second here. He picked up an assist yesterday, but do you really see him as a center down the line? Because I know a lot of people are seeing him, with the Habs already next season and all that, slow it down a little bit, but he does have great upside. But where do you see him fit long-term within the organization?
Well, I saw the strategy from the team as a head scratcher at the beginning of the season, playing him at center. I didn't see a center in Florent Xhekaj at the beginning. But in the first couple of weeks of the season, Pascal Vincent told us, well, I see a young Adam Laurie in what he brings each and every night. And when you're talking about Adam Laurie, you're talking about a team captain, a guy that is dependable, a guy that will bring everyone into the fight, a guy can score goals, play on the PK. Really a guy that all around the NHL is really respected. So I thought that maybe it was a too strong comparison from the coach, but I mean, he let him go, played as a center almost all year. When there was opportunity to bring him in the top 9, playing him on the wing, they did it. But he was mostly the fourth line center all year in Laval. But he played really good, and what an improvement all year. I mean, it's amazing with the kind of ice time that he had all year. 24 goals.
Crazy.
This is formidable. 175 penalty minutes. He won't back down against anyone. Can fight. Can square off. He will bring sandpaper, will go in front of the net. He won't back down from anyone. Scoring 24 goals is quite something. What an achievement. And when you need that kind of greedy player on a top 9, he can be that guy. And last night we lost Xavier Simoneau after 2 periods. And Pascal Vincent decided to mix things up, and he bring with him Xhekaj on the wing. So that's what he did last night. And it might continue like this on game 2 on Friday night. Xhekaj might play on the wing. So you have the opportunity to play maybe Davidson at center. You can bring back Philippe Méchard. You can bring back Luke Tuck in the lineup. That depth that we talked about at the beginning will help the Rocket, because there's another guy next man up that will be able to play.
Exactly. That's nuts to say that Méchard and Tuck are in the stands right now. They're the extra men. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, the Black Aces are first round picks and 2 second round picks. Philippe Méchard and Luke Tuck and Kidney are both second round picks.
The depth is just
it's
outrageous. Outrageous. Well, let's key on a few more young players before we get to the veterans, because they deserve a segment of their own here. But the winning goal, Oliver Kapanen, who stood out to me last night's game. He got robbed by Devin Levi twice. Crazy saves, but he ultimately gets the game-winning goal. What a night for the Kapanen family. Kasperi Kapanen ends the Vegas Golden Knights season the same night that Oliver gets his first AHL goal, and a big goal at that. What did you see from him so far, and how is he fitting into the Rocket, having not played many games with them so far?
Well, I'm a Oliver Kapanen believer. Well, the thing is with Kapanen, I was taking a close look at what he did in the SHL in the playoffs, and the good thing is, with the World Wide Web, you have the chance now to watch everything that you want to see. And it wasn't the case just a couple of years ago, but I watched really closely 3 of the 6 games that he played against Roland Duh in that first round series in the SHL, and he was really a go-to guy option for Olli Jokinen. He played him pretty much everywhere. First line center, both special units. Was even playing him on the point on the power play. He had a lot of touches there, so I knew right from the get-go, because when Kent Hughes said at the training deadline that the reinforcement in Laval could be Kapanen, you knew that as soon as the season would finish in Sweden, they will bring him back here in North America and play him in Laval. So things changed quickly. There were no reinforcements in Montreal. They needed a fresh body, so they decided to bring in Montreal. Understandable. They played him on the 4th line on the limited options offensively. So I didn't see in Montreal what I saw in Sweden. I know it's not the same caliber of play, but I knew the guy could have an impact, at least in the AHL. And I really think that Pascal Vincent was really bracing himself to get that guy in that lineup, because he's responsible on 200 feet, could play on both sides of the ice. And it's a tough call for him. Joining a team that has been the class of the field all year, and expectations are that you will take someone else's spot in the lineup and help the team win. So he joined in the middle of that Cleveland series. He played right away. Only one practice for him with Laval, and he didn't score, but we saw him in each and every in every game that he played, getting his opportunities. And finally, last night, big game, big goal for him at the end of the game. So, and I think there's a lot more for him in these playoffs. He's already an important player for the Rocket.
Absolutely. And one more of the young core that I need to talk about, and this player to me is maybe the story of the season, Sean Farrell. I mean, for those who aren't familiar with this, listen to this statistic. His first 37 games, he had 9 points. The next 35, he had 41. Unbelievable turnaround for this player, and he's already got 6 points in 5 games in the playoffs. He's a key piece in that first line with Dauphin and Barré-Boulet. What's clicked for him? I mean, you've been around the team all season long. You might have a better answer than me, but what was the click, and how important is he really to that first line and to this team?
Yeah, you're talking about points. He scored a goal, like I think it was the 10th of December. I think his first goal of the season, and I think it clicked at that time.
Right.
Finally, he got that weight off his shoulders, and he started to play freely with confidence. And when the opportunity came to play him with Dauphin and Barré-Boulet, he took the ball, and he was a play driver for that line. And what a line it has been down the stretch for Laval the last couple of months. I mean,
wow.
At no time Pascal Vincent had the idea to separate them. They've been that good. No team has an answer right now for these three. So
no, that's it.
It's a reliable line. They're good on both sides of the ice, and they produce offensively. And oftentimes like that, he's playing with good veterans for sure. But sometimes the best player on that line, oftentimes it's Sean Farrell. And you can take a look at Alex Barré-Boulet's goal last night.
Yes.
What a play from Farrell. He shoots the puck, gets the rebound, and instead of continuing the play and trying to bury it, he has the reaction to pass it in front to Barré-Boulet, who has only the option to the top of the net. Good brain, for sure.
That's that Harvard brain, right? That's that Harvard
probably.
brain. Yeah. Sean Farrell's
the most
remarkable.
Intelligent kid in the block.
Exactly. But clearly, I mean, the hockey IQ is off the charts, and so is the talent. So, obviously the size might be the only thing holding him back, but what a player. And he's become a key part in this Rocket team. Anthony, we have to have a few words about the veterans in this squad as well, because we know that the Rocket are a young team, right? They're very exciting future NHLers, but they also have some really strong veterans on that team. And the one that I want to start with is the guy that got the game puck after the game, Raphaël Harvey-Pinard, who has been through his fair share of ups and downs, injuries, the whole shebang. He has gone through it, but he is still here. He is still performing at a very high level. He was relentless last night, always creating things, making things happen. No points on the board, but that doesn't tell the whole story, right? The eye test will tell you a different story. He was one of the best players in the game yesterday.
Well, I think Harvey-Pinard and Lucas Kundada, they don't have, like you said, there's no point on the score sheet for them last night, but they're directly responsible for 2 of the 5 goals from the Rocket last night because of their relentless pressure in the O-zone. They tried to make a change, but they were so out of breath that they couldn't do it. And on that goal, on Barré-Boulet's goal, just before then, it's Harvey-Pinard with that ferocious battle down low, was able to get some more offensive line time, and then they used that the defense was completely out of breath, and they took it on the back foot, and they were able to score on this. So I think they deserve a lot of credit. They don't have anything on the score sheet, but if you watched the game last night, it was a tremendous effort from Kundada and Harvey-Pinard, and he's a guy that in the playoffs that he's going to find something different in his play. to be that game breaker. He was that kind of guy in 2022. So 3 years later, with more experience, I don't see anything else in Harvey Pinard. It's going to happen. It's only a question of time.
Lavaliger, right? He hasn't missed that nickname. Lavaliger is still very valid, and I appreciate you mentioning Lucas Condada as well, the captain, right? Again, like you mentioned, relentless. He's a physical presence. He's annoying to play against. No points.
He brings
on the
everyone
scoreboard,
into the fight. Condada. He's that kind of a captain.
Exactly. I mean, glue. The term "glue guy" gets thrown around too much, but he actually does bring this team closer together. He is to the fullest extent of the expression a glue guy, and he's got a ton of talent as well. He's a heck of a hockey player. Doesn't get the appreciation he deserves. And how about Brandon Gignac? Comes back from a massive, major injury, right? And scores a big goal yesterday. He's on that line with two young guys in Kapanen and Joshua Roy. But talk to me about his game yesterday, how he's progressed from that injury, and just a testament of him being able to play right now.
You know, Shane, to get a chance to a title in the AHL, sometimes things need to fall into places for you on the right side of things. And one of the example that I can use is Brandon Gignac's injury. Because when he got injured the first time in November, the 22nd of November, we didn't know the extent of his injury. He came back a month later. It didn't work out. And then he went on the shelf. And we didn't see him for the remainder of the year. And wasn't on the ice, didn't practice, and you got to wonder, well, when it's going to happen. He will need to be worked on his knee and everything, and they were looking for ways to bring him back on the ice. They didn't know the extent of the injury, and then miracle, he's back on the ice, and it works, and he's an option to start the playoff. Fast skater, useful on the PK. He could be a difference maker, could cut a pass and go on straight line on the breakaway. He's been that kind of a player, the best player in Laval last year. You got to give it to him. And how good that team would have been with a Brandon Gignac fully healthy all year. He wasn't there all year, and now he's joining the team in the playoff push. I think for Pascal Vincent, you have Kapanen, you have Joshua Roy, who almost didn't play the last month or so, and Gignac coming back to play. He decided to play all the three of them together. Find your answers, guys.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They're finding their answers right now. They're not the first 5 games of the playoff. They might not have been the best line of the Rocket, but with that kind of talent, that something will happen eventually. And it happened last night. They got the 4th and the 5th goal, and you get the W.
Exactly. And that third period, that line was really good. They played really, really well. Joshua also got an assist in that game. 2 more veterans.
Himself physically, Joshua Roy last night.
Hey, and, he almost had a penalty.
Really liked what he saw.
Yeah, that's it. He got a penalty for cross-checking and could have gotten another one for boarding later on in the game, but it's good to see that side of him, right? I mean, he's known as an offensive producer and goal scorer, playmaker, and all that, but if he's able to impose himself physically as well, hey, you got a heck of a player there. So hoping to see more of that moving forward. And speaking of moving forward, let's take a look at what to expect from this series a little bit. It's only game 1, right? But we know the Rochester Americans very well, right? They're direct division rival. And I think we have to talk a little bit about Devin Levi, right? He is the X factor for that team. He led in 5 yesterday, but he can absolutely steal games for the Americans. In the playoffs, I mean, he's got a 175 goals against and a 944 save percentage, even after yesterday's game. So he is on another level, and they got other players to watch out for. I mean, we mentioned a few off the top, but Cale Clegg has been incredible in these playoffs. Yuri Kulich, Noah Oslund, Konsta Helenius, Isaac Rosen. This is a very, very deep team. So what do you think will be the key to ultimately beating the Americans?
You know what I think, Shane? It's that they have a lot of talent. No worries there, but they all look the same. You need to bang them physically. Each and every time you have the chance, you got to hit them. Yeah. They got to pay the price. And I thought last night they played excellent against Kulik. who was pretty much a non-factor during the game. I think their best player last night might have been Zach Roseyan. That's the guy that we've in spurts. He was probably the most dangerous guy out there for Rochester. So talent-wise, there's no worries there, but they all look the same, unfortunately for them. And I don't think in a playoff series against a team with that much depth that can play physically against you, against a pair like Lindstrom and Waterspoon that won't give you anything in front of the net. They won't give you that net front presence that it's so important to get some greasy kind of goals. I don't know if Oslund, I don't know if Elenius, I don't know if Roseyan, I don't know if Kulik will be able to pay the price as much to get in front of the net and get that greasy kind of goal. So I think it could be a difference maker for Laval if they can keep them along the boards. I don't see how they can be the kind of difference maker to get that series. And I remember 3 years ago they were playing Jack Quinn, Peyton Krebs. These were the young players that everyone was looking to, but they were pretty much a non-factor because they played them hard. And down the line, it could help them. It's a league that you need to work hard to perform, and it's a tough league to get good numbers offensively because you got to pay the price to get them. So. And now they're already down 1-0 in this series. It's a pretty much do or die situation for the Americans tomorrow night.
Absolutely, and again, we go back to teetering the line between physicality and staying disciplined. Right, that's where the Rocket are really going to have to be careful. Is that yes, you absolutely need to be on them, finish your checks, go hard at them, but also do it legally. Right, so that yesterday they kind of learned a little bit about that line, figure out where the refs are drawing that line, and hopefully as the games move on, they'll be able to teeter it better. But it's a great point there. I mean, the Rocket have the tools to be physically imposing and physically annoying. So I think that'll be ultimately the key to winning that series.
It's relentless. When you're able to get the upper end against the Dauphin and the Captain line, well, then you have Condada in your face the next game. And then they bring in Owen Beck with that guy, the unicorn, Florian Jackai, that you need to handle the pressure. And then, next shift, Dauphin's coming back with Barry Boulay. And now you got to respect that offensive line. So it's relentless. There's a lot of pressure. And offense can come in different ways. Right. They can trash the net. They can shoot the puck. They have good abilities. So this is a team that is stacked right now. You got to give them to them. It's an excellent hockey team that could go all the way.
And even on defense, I mean, Logan Mailloux can lay some people out. David Reinbacher's got more grit in his game than people give him credit for. Trudeau. Oh my God, Trudeau is a menace. He's a menace out there. So it must be a pain to play against this team. And hey, that usually does well in the playoffs, right? So let's bring up the Laval Rocket lineup from yesterday's game. And we know that Simoneau got injured, did not finish the game. In your opinion, if you had to give a prediction, who do you think slots in for him, and how does the lineup resemble for tomorrow's game? Is it mostly the same, or do you expect some changes?
Well, I think Pascal Vincent has a lot of options for sure. Offensively, Simoneau can go, but if I think the most what we could see tomorrow is Jackai playing on that line with Condada and Harvey Pinard, and then you slide Beck centering Davidson, and you can bring in Luke Tuck. I think it's the thing that Pascal has in mind for tomorrow. He could bring in Philippe Méchard. Could it be the ideal time to bring Méchard into the fight tomorrow? But I just don't see him playing on the fourth line kind of role, and neither on the third line, because they've been pushing the pace, playing down low and everything. I don't see Méchard slotting in Simoneau's place. So I think what could happen tomorrow is to see Luke Tuck joining the lineup and Jackai playing on the third on the wing.
And last one for you. Who's in net?
Oh, it's going to be Fowler.
Yes. Okay.
Pascal Vincent told everyone that we're going to see both goaltenders, and I think it's the ideal situation for Fowler. You lead that series 1-0. You were able to get that W, so at least there's that security coming back to Laval next week. So I think Fowler goes in tomorrow without a question. And I think for the first time in this series, it's going to get confirmed early on Friday morning.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's usually right before the game. So that's awesome. I mean, Fowler's 3-0 in the playoffs. He's got a 1.00 goals against average and a 953 save percentage. So whoever it is, the Laval Rocket are in good hands, and they are in good hands with you, my friend. And you can listen to the BPM Spa broadcast 7 p.m. tomorrow night, Laval Rocket, Rochester Americans, to listen to the voice of your Laval Rocket, Anthony Marcotte, and they come back Wednesday to play in Laval. And guess what? We're so nice that we're doing a giveaway. You can win 2 tickets to go see the Laval Rocket play the Rochester Americans at Place Belle. All you have to do is, first and foremost, you got to check us out on Twitter, all right? I repeat, SickPod Rocket. You got to follow that account as well as the Sick Podcast account. That is Tony Marinaro's show, talking about the Montreal Canadiens. After that, you have to retweet that post right there. And if you comment Sick, you have a chance to win 2 tickets to go see that game. So I invite you all to go do that, and hopefully some of our listeners can go to the Laval Rocket game in Game 3. We look forward to that. We look forward to the game tomorrow, and we will be back soon, folks. This is a very exciting venture. I think both of us are very excited to talk some Laval Rocket. We're going to have some special surprises, great conversations coming up. You want to stay tuned for this. It's going to be a blast. Anthony, anything else before we wrap this one up?
Well, it's been a fun ride. It is going to be a fun stuff with you, Shane. Good job. And it's a good way to launch a podcast with a giveaway for a playoff game. You can't ask for anything else.
Is it ever? Is it ever? Well, that is a perfect way to end this one. For Anthony Marcotte, I am producer Shane. This has been the very first edition of the Sick Podcast Rocket Report.
It's going to be sick. See you guys.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Rocket Report on YouTube, X, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.